So these are the panelists. They're going to be hitting you with the question. And I got to tell you, you're wrong. And so you guys are, I wish you all luck. Anyway, give us about a 2-minute answer. And Debbie Yo is our timekeeper, and Chris is helping her. Deb's our director in Ocean City, and Chris is the co-director. And did I forget anybody? I don't think so. Okay. Shall we, whoever wants to start?
Hi, I'm Peter Boyce. I moved to South Jersey about 42 years ago. Worked different odd jobs. After about a year or two, I started my own businesses. I've owned and operated probably about 20 different businesses. I've been the proprietor, owner-operator of Delmont Sawmill for the past 30 years. I'm an inventor. I teach Constitution courses. We just graduated 150 in Cumberland, Gloucester, Salem counties, mostly Tea Party people. I bring up business experience because teaching the Constitution, loving the Constitution, now I've been a constitutional activist for about 30 years, I realize it's not about business. The goal of any business, the definition of a successful business, is to grow. Should government grow bigger? Should people go into government with the idea of running it as a business and make it grow? It's just the opposite. The essence of freedom is the proper limitation of government. Not no government, just enough to protect our rights and otherwise stay off our backs and out of our pockets. So my platform is based on getting back to the basics, the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of New Jersey. We need to repeal, reduce, and roll back the unconstitutional regulatory burdens that are strangling small businesses. That's how to bring back jobs, is restore the liberty. Our state slogan, liberty and prosperity. Because prosperity follows liberty as surely as wet streets follow rain. We don't have an economic crisis. We can have an economic symptom. The crisis is the loss of liberty. We need to repeal the unconstitutional regulations. We need to repudiate the unconstitutional debt. We need to exercise our 10th Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution to send back to Washington Obamacare, cap and trade, Food Modernization Act as exceeding the authority delegated by the people of New Jersey to the federal government under Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. We need to officially recognize as a state gold and silver bullion as legal tender. These Federal Reserve notes by the day are becoming more and more worthless. What else could I say? I haven't been in this fight for 30 years to make a career. I've been in this fight to save our country for our children and our grandchildren. Because what's coming down the pike, unless you get guys in Washington or in the state houses across America that are going to stand their ground, that understand the Constitution, both the United States Constitution and the state Constitution, and are willing to stand their ground and fight the good fight, we're going to get rolled over. We're going to lose it. And if freedom is lost in America, it'll be lost for the whole world. We are the light on the hill. There's no place to go from here. We've got to fight here. What more to say? I guess I'll answer your questions. Thank you.
This question is for Dave Deweese. Are you willing to impeach judges who rule on using foreign law, in particular Sharia law? Would you be willing to impeach a judge who uses Sharia law or enforces it in our country?
Having been a judge for 22 years, I guess this is an appropriate question for me. I guess it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I don't think you can say generally. Excuse me. I'm not used to people laughing at me when I'm talking. It's on a case-by-case basis. I don't think you can say across the board, generally, that, yes, I'm going to definitely vote to impeach. It would depend on the circumstances of that particular case, the actions of that particular judge in that case, whether it would warrant impeachment or not. I don't think you can just say a general statement across the board that, yes, I'm going to impeach, or no, I wouldn't. It has to be on a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Peter,
Hey,
as a legislature, how will you force judges to adhere to the Constitution as it was written, as it was written?
for impeachment. And while we're on the subject of impeachment, when we're sworn in, we'll swear an oath before God to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New Jersey. A white paper produced by the Intelligence Department for the Bush administration as an analysis of Islam. The bottom line of that was that it's akin to sedition. For a judge in New Jersey to be ruling in his court based on Sharia law is sedition. I would move that for that judge to be impeached.
Yeah. So you guys pick who wants to answer.
Here, Pete.
Okay, Peter. Keep it brief though, Pete, please.
Briefly, I've been fighting the equivalent of Reggie and global warming for 20 years. There's an online petition. It's called the Petition Project. You can look it up. 32,000 American scientists, and these are real scientists, astrophysicists, oceanographers, meteorologists. 32,000 American scientists, 9,000 with PhDs have signed an online petition. There is no scientific basis for the global warming hypothesis. This RGGI, Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, is a gigantic scam to tax carbon output with permits, and then resell the permits, buy them cheap and resell them at the expense of our utility bills. It needs to be repealed, and anything like it needs to be repealed.
Peter Boyce, how will you legislate to keep the schools from forcing sexual introduction on children without the knowledge or consent of their parents?
Well, pass legislation to that effect. We could also, in the 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, we put prayer and Bible study, bring the Bibles back to the schools. The original book that was in the schools. Our whole system of government is based on the premise of limited government just to protecting our God-given rights. But in order for that to work, there's a wonderful quotation by John Adams, that our Constitution was made only for moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate for any other. There has to be the exercise of internal moral restraints in order to have freedom. Otherwise, the more our morals go downhill, the more need there is for government control over every aspect of our lives. The best way is to bring the moral teachings, the 10 Commandments, back into the school system. Bring the Bible and the 10 Commandments back into school. In order for that to happen, those legislators in Trenton have to have the backbone to exercise the 10th Amendment right under the U.S. Constitution and nullify these unconstitutional federal laws and to take control of our state again.
Tyrants control their population once they are able to remove their rights to own and use a gun. In light of this, what will you do to bring back the full rights of gun ownership and use as our fathers intended?
The Second Amendment says, well-regulated militia, militia not meaning the state, National Guard, but people. Well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It was rated A by Gun Owners of America in the survey. I ran against Franklin Biondo, he was rated C. I was rated A. Argument is, as to why we have so many gun regulations, so many infringements on the Second Amendment, is that the argument it goes, the word people doesn't really mean people. It means the police, National Guard, and so on. However, the First Amendment, when it refers to people, the right of the Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, petition government. In the First Amendment, the word people means people, you and I. But they would have us believe that the Second Amendment, now the word people has a different meaning. If that were the case, then that would mean that only the National Guard, or the State Guard, right, or state police have freedom of speech and of religion and to assemble. That's ludicrous. No, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed means exactly what it says. These laws have to be repealed. Now, when thank you, Montana has exercised its authority under the 10th Amendment, which I keep coming back to nullify the federal gun laws. They've passed legislation that in Montana, they will manufacture their own guns, they will sell their own guns in Montana,